Hi guys, this video is going to be about my dyshidrotic eczema journey that happened to me last year from around April to November, I would say. And for those who don't know me, I am Ada. This is my channel where we focus on healing my eczema from my hands to my mouth and sharing natural treatments along the way. Now, even though this is going to be about my personal journey, I will be giving you treatments and hints and tips along the way, so please do stay to the end to get all the information you need to take your healing forward. Now let's get into it. So how did my eczema show up? Well, I remember it was at nighttime where I just started itching, and I woke up to these bumps on my hand, red and raised, and it looked really odd. I didn't understand why I was itching so much. But then over the course of a few days, I noticed that it became worse and worse and worse, more itchier, blistered, scaly, red, oozing, weeping, flaking, you name it. It just sort of took over me suddenly. It was such a dramatic onset that I was left confused. I didn't understand why this was happening to me. So it was across my two hands, my right hand being significantly worse. My eczema went up to my fingernails, my fingertips, even the size of my wrist. And it was across, yes, two hands. This wasn't as bad as the right hand. I'm not sure why. This was the hand that itched the most uncontrollably, and I just don't know what was going on. It was a very distressing situation for me. I remember going to my husband asking, why was this happening? I was crying. I was just so upset. Like, how could my skin do this to me? Like, why? I also just hated my hands. Like, I hated anything brushing up against it. I was just so hyper aware of them, and it was just so hard for me to function day to day. I have two small boys, bath time, dressing them. It was just hell, and I didn't want to just keep pitying myself, but at times I was just crying. I just was so upset with my hands. And your hands are something you use every day. You can't cover them up. You need to interact with people with your hands, pick up your children, touch people. It was just so awful. And to have people look at you and say, oh, what is that? What's going on with your hands? Like, what happened there? It was, it's a very bad time for me. My heart goes out to anyone dealing with this horrific skin condition. You are so strong, and you will reclaim your skin. You may have it on your feet as well, and that must be an absolute nightmare. So what was the cause of my severe dyshidrotic eczema showing up on my hands, right? What happened to me? So off the bat, I would have said, I don't know. I just woke up one day and this was on my skin, right? But really, that wasn't true. It really wasn't true. This was a result of a high sugar diet, which essentially leads to candida overgrowth. So I have a very high sweet tooth. I love my pastries, my donuts, my chocolates, cakes, cookies, you name it. And that can get out of control very easily. Also, a lack of hydration. I just didn't like the taste of water at all. And also, I suspect I had an allergy from kojic acid, which is a soap used to deal with hyperpigmentation. So I suspect I reacted to that, but it was a combination of those things. Also, my seasonal allergies that do appear every year, but it was just, the perfect storm for an outbreak, especially the high sugar. And I am predisposed to this as well, so it just was a lot to take for my body, and I wasn't looking after my body really. The outbreak last year was, it took it to a whole new level. I tend to deal with eczema flare-ups easily, now and then. They don't really give me any problems. They're just something I go through, and it's very minimal. But this right here was a different ball game. This was completely like, what is going on? So you might be wondering, how do I find the cause of my eczema? Like, what do I do about this? If your eczema is large in areas and you feel like you're always in a perpetual cycle of eczema, the itching, the scaliness, the patchiness, the redness, the irritation, if you seem like whatever you eat or touch gives you a flare-up that is lasting months and weeks, even years, I beg you, please go and get patch testing, allergy testing. Let them test for cosmetics, allergens and skincare, material, food. Let them do your blood work. Let them do testing for vitamin and minerals deficiencies. These are key testing. So when you get the results of this, you can see exactly what is causing your flare-ups. It could just be your skincare or your body wash that you're using. Every day you're using this thing and you can be allergic to it. Also, if you've had heavy antibiotic use, because the antibiotics also kill the good and the bad bacteria. So it could be that the bad bacteria is now having free reign, so to speak, and you need to balance that out. And the way you can do that is through foods such as kimchi and sauerkraut, apple cider vinegar, so you can introduce back into your body the beneficial bacteria. Also include a prebiotic, like a multi-strain prebiotic, which I have used in the past, which is a really good way of getting that good bacteria back into your body to balance it out. You could also have histamine intolerance. Certain foods are very high in histamines that you just might be sensitive to, like spinach, soy, or strawberries. Also may have a sensitivity to salicylates, and I'm sorry if I'm butchering that word. This chemical is found in plants, nuts, and spices. So for example, cinnamon, cayenne pepper, they are quite high in this, so it's something to look out for. Also think about how clean your environment is. Are you washing your beddings regularly? Build up of bacteria, your dead skin cells, bed bugs can all contribute to your itching and worsen your symptoms. Making sure that you're using fragrance-free detergents and hypoallergenic products. Also making sure that you're washing them in a hot wash to get rid of the bacteria. Stress levels. So this is another key point. What's been going on in your life lately? What have you been dealing with? Are you under any external pressures? Is it a physical stress, emotional stress? These can wreak havoc on our bodies, and take some time to understand where have you been overstretched. I know as a parent it's difficult when you've got little kids running around. You don't get time just to kind of be calm and relax. So do take the time to figure out why you could be flaring up if it relates to your stress levels. Try your best to bring it down. Try your best to get some moments in the day where you're calm, go out for a walk, meditate. Now you also could have dyshidrotic eczema on your feet. Now I wondered about this, like why would you even get it on your feet? But it could be the materials of the shoes you're using. Did you buy a new shoe lately? Are you wearing socks that need to be thrown away? Are you working in the swimming pool and you're just having your feet overly wet? Are you wearing swim socks? In your home, do you have a new rug? Is a material coming into contact with your feet that's irritating it? Sorry, I'm just off the bat here because I don't know what it's like to have dyshidrotic eczema on the feet. But again, just think about what has changed in your environment, what you've introduced, what people around you have introduced. Even it could be pets. So there's so many things to think about when it comes to why you're dealing with this skin issue now. So I was so upset with my skin. How could my skin turn against me? Why did it do this to me? I was in a very I was just playing the victim a lot. I went into self-pity mode. But it's very difficult when you're given a sudden situation like that appears out of nowhere. I had to get out of that mindset and turn it around to say, look, my body is doing this because it's letting me know there's a problem. So it wants to be helped and you have to help it. So I had to understand that it wasn't hurting me out of choice. It doesn't want to hurt me, of course not, but it's had to for me to be able to see what's going on. So I had to start looking for solutions and stop feeling sorry for myself and take action no matter how hard it sucked. Also began to research to find out what was happening. I went into YouTube, TikTok, I read articles, and on YouTube there was one YouTuber called African Hair God, I believe, and I was so thankful that he put his videos up on there because it showed eczema on skin that looked like my skin, and it was very similar to what I was going through. So I watched his videos, tried to understand how he was getting his flare-ups, but he was and worked in a hair salon, so that was causing his issues. But I went on TikTok, I looked at, juices for anti-inflammation. I went on Dr. Berg's YouTube channel that has fantastic resources on eczema and how you can get yourself on the way to healing. Most of the research on Google and articles always mention steroids, and I didn't want to go down that path. Even my brother, who is a doctor, said to me, get a steroid and things will be well. But from my research, I could see that no, this wouldn't promote long-term healing, which is what I wanted. I also went to a doctor because it got so bad that I thought, maybe let me just see what they're going to say, because it was horrific. And so, like always, she saw me and she said, well, this looks very severe, and prescribed me a very high potent steroid, which I didn't use. And she prescribed me some eye drops for my fingernails, which again, I didn't use because I realized this was going to have to be a long, hard game to get your inflammatory response down and really work from the inside out to see that healing that's long-term, not just covering up the symptoms and having them pop up again in the worst ways, just like TSW, but a whole different kettle of fish. So I had to take control of my own healing because nobody else would. So just to clarify, I realized my eczema was a result of poor diet, high inflammatory foods, lack of water. Those were the main culprits. When I was researching, I always heard this: it starts in the gut, leaky gut syndrome, you have infections or candida overgrowth. So there was a problem that had to be addressed. And I knew from what I was eating and putting into my body, it wasn't the best thing. So my skin was reacting to what I was giving it. As a result, I had to make changes to my diet urgently. So the changes I made to my diet was, cut out high sugary foods. I cut them out completely, and I just took them out of my kitchen cupboard, took out all the snacks, didn't buy any. And I started eating, wholesome foods, leafy greens, vegetables, meats, small carbs, nuts, being as healthy and clean as possible, just dealing with, single ingredient food items, no processed foods, cutting that all out. Though I do have a sweet tooth, so I would make myself banana cake and cookies because, I had to curb that somehow, but I wouldn't use sugar. I would use erythritol, which is an alternative to sugar, and it doesn't raise your blood sugar levels, I believe. And that helped me just have something sweet, but not it being sugar, and not me having to go out and buy cookies and cakes. I'd rather bake it in my house. So I made my own smoothies, and the smoothie I made consisted of cucumber, celery, ginger, apple, amongst other things that I can't remember. But you can just take celery juice straight, and it's great for healing, for promoting skin healing. In the mornings, I took apple cider vinegar, like 2 teaspoons in water, and I took L-glutamine, which was the hardest part because the taste of it didn't agree with me at all. It was very unpleasant, but we do what we need to do to heal. I took nutritional yeast, B12, on top of my food. So it's like the yeast flakes, and not to be confused with the candida flakes. The candida yeast, sorry, they're two different things. I was eating a nutritional yeast with a wide range of vitamins and minerals included. Around 2 tablespoons, I would just drizzle that over my food. Exercising, so nothing crazy, but making sure I did a strength training routine for around 3 times a week, or it meant just me walking to the school to pick my kids in the morning and the afternoons, just light activity to keep my body moving with a slight sweat, so to keep me active and not so sedentary. I took a multivitamin try and get one that's completely synthetic free. So we want the minerals and vitamins to be traceable. I use one called Rituals. Now I also use Dr. Berg's vitamin D and K2 supplements and magnesium glycinate. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I realized that vitamin D and the fish oils are quite key in skin health, and I live in the UK, so there's not really any sun here apart from 2 weeks in a year. I did also buy milk thistle, but I abandoned it because I realized I was getting itchy sensations from it. So again, be just sure when you're using these supplements and vitamins that you're not having an adverse reaction to anything. So also try quercetin, which is a supplement, and it helps with inflammation of the body. So what was the healing like? The healing, I noticed, came around the 2 to 3 mark. I noticed my skin wasn't producing flaky, patchy, bumpy, blistered skin. I realized that my skin was actually becoming one tone. It was becoming smooth to the touch. It was becoming healed and calmed and not angry, and not crusting and not oozing and not blistering. It was just on the way to recovery, and I was elated, absolutely elated. All that consistency and hard work was proving to be fantastic because I was reaping those benefits of just being consistent and having patience. So all in all, my healing process from start to finish, I would say, was around 6 to 7 months. I mean, I still have hyperpigmentation on the tips of my fingers. I have nail discoloration still, which, you know, is part of parcel of all the scratching and the constant chronic scratching I had to go through. So products and gloves. Now, I think that me having gloves at night really got my skin out of the woods. It promoted me, it helped me to not scratch at night. I was covering my skin with a glove, but before that I was using a cream like Epiderm or Vaseline, and I would put that on and cover that with a glove. It really helped my skin heal overnight. But I also found, so when my skin was accepting of products, because sometimes you have to realize that products at the beginning, they ain't gonna do anything for you, because if you're in that raw, flaky, red, burning stage, you don't want anything on your skin. At least for me, nothing was on my skin except probably water, Vaseline, and an Epiderm. So I did a bit of research onto nice moisturizing balms and creams I could use, and I found one called the High Tea Moisture Balm that I'll link below, and it was really calming on my skin and left my skin hydrated. Definitely check that out. It's not sponsored or anything, but I finished the whole tub of that, so it was really helping my skin to just heal. And it's got natural products, there's no like chemicals or additives or whatever, so you can check that out below. Yeah, so the gloves really helped me come out of the itch scratch cycle, and I wasn't at night randomly scratching my hands because I couldn't get to them. It made my skin heal. So know the phrase, it takes time. You know, it takes time, it takes consistency, it takes patience. I know you're gonna hate hearing it, but it truly does. I badly wanted my skin to heal the next day last year. I badly wanted to wake up and have my skin back on track, but it took months. So give yourself grace and know that it's going to take time. There'll be ups and downs, ebbs and flows. It's not linear healing. You may find you try something and it may trigger something else, but you're always moving forward to healing. Always speak over your skin positively and accept your skin for where it is. It will get better, and I pray it does get better. Whatever battle you're going through, it will get better. It just takes consistency, patience, dedication, motivation. You know, there's a lot of steps to be on the way to healing. There's a lot of things to take, so don't try and overwhelm yourself in the beginning. Just take one thing at a time, then add to it and add to it and add to it until you've got a whole 360 approach for healing. So in closing, I hope what I've shared with you has been helpful. Try not to obsess over every little itch or scratch that you're going through. I know it's hard, but you will be on your way to recovery. And of course, check out my video on how I cured my eczema, and know that yes, this helped me get through it, but it might not help you get through it. Our bodies are so complex. What works for me might not work for you. keep going and don't give up on your journey of healing. It takes time. It's going to take a lot of time, especially if you've been not treating your body well for a long period of time. You need to give your body grace. It can accept the new foods, the supplements, the vitamins that you're giving it. So don't give up on yourself. You will heal. If I healed, you definitely can heal. Don't be discouraged. Be encouraged. It just takes time and consistency. And reach out to get testing done. Reach out for allergy testing, patch testing. Reach out to get help. Reach out to find out exactly what's going on with your body. Also, try to not focus on your skin all the time, although it's easier said than done. But always constantly focus on your skin. It's tiring. It's draining. You know, just try to not have it always at the forefront of your mind, and think about it like you're in it for the long game. Step by step, you'll get to where you want to be. Anyway, guys, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.